Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast. So I am recording this as I approach going on another retreat, and it's got me thinking about the power of the pause and the power of intentionally slowing down. So that is what we are going to talk about today. So in our culture and society, we are very much given the message of do more, go faster, keep going, take more actions in order to achieve our goals. And although we may hear all of this stuff around like slow down to speed up and like do less, get more, all the time that they just feel like pretty wishy-washy platitudes, it's very, very hard to change patterns of behavior that are already working for you, right? Because those of us with the success equals or requires hard work model work in ways that mean that is true, right? We work hard and we push ourselves, we get results, ergo we make the conclusion that working hard and pushing ourselves is what we have to do to get results. And so the concept of doing less, slowing down, pausing and seeing what comes from that can feel really foreign and really unfamiliar. But the thing is that if we never try it, we're never going to learn that there's another way. And so the way that we choose, the pushing, efforting, keeping going, is taking a lot more out of us than it really needs to. So I have been very good since my own personal burnout experience of 2018 at slowing down and doing less. But actual pausing, actual switching off, actual like resting properly, not so much. And so last year, 2022, I signed up to do a retreat in the July, and I'd signed up to do it in the January. And I knew like this was my next layer of growth. Like I need to lean into really slowing down, because if I was honest with myself, I had all of these lovely practices in my day, like going for the long nature walks and doing other things that were very relaxing. But I was doing those whilst also doing something else. So I would be multitasking on my walks. So I wasn't really ever switching off. And I turned up for this retreat, and I know myself. I know I have a personality which has some compulsions, and we're all addicted to something. And this bad boy is one of mine. So I turned up at the retreat. Oh, for people listening to this, I just showed people who are watching a picture of my phone. So I turned up to this retreat and I handed my phone in. And the retreat was Thursday to Sunday. I just handed my phone in. I was like, give me this back on Sunday when I leave. And various things happened that for me just reinforced the power of the pause. And the power of the pause is actually like the tagline of the lady who runs the retreats that I go on. So the retreat I did in July last year is run by the same lady as the retreat I did in January, is the same lady as the one I'm doing in May, and I'm doing another one with her in September, because I've realized the true power of slowing down. So here's what happened. First of all, when you slow down, you reconnect back to yourself, your values, what you need, what's important, that you don't necessarily get to in the day-to-day of everything around you being very busy and all consuming. Like we live in a go, go, go culture. Even if, like me, you are slightly more of a hermit lifestyle in the countryside now, there's still always stuff to do, right? So you reconnect back to yourself. You're in a place where you can see the stuff that you need to work on. You can see your growth edge. You can see your gaps that maybe you don't quite get to when you are conveniently distracting yourself in the day-to-day. You also get to reset. Like when you pause and really slow down and stop, everything just gets to reset. It's like a spring clean for your body, your mind, all of it, right? And I can't even begin to tell you like the difference that it made to just slow down for a few days, to reconnect back to myself and to nature. But here's where it gets super interesting, right? So I'm given my phone back on the Sunday. I look at my emails. I have been contacted by a corporate to ask me if I will coach one of their senior solicitors. I have been contacted by somebody else who has been referred to me by one of my other clients about doing some one-to-one coaching. And I think a third call had booked in. Now, it's very, very unusual for me to have 3 people booking in for calls to talk about working with me. First of all, in a 3-day period, and second of all, over a weekend. And actually, I felt like it was almost like a sign from the universe, if you like, of, look, love, when you actually do slow down, good things happen. And it was such an interesting thing for me of like, we don't constantly need to be working or pushing or doing other things. Like, doing what we do, it is all working away in the background. So I wanted to share that with you. And I want you to think for yourself, are you giving yourself enough intentional pause? Enough, even if it's just in the context of your day, do you allow a transition space between different things? Do you take the dogs out and then immediately start work? Or do you take the dogs out, come in, have 5 minutes to sit, then start work? Like, do you have transitions? Do you have intentional pauses in your life? Because, and again, so Danielle, who runs my retreat, her first book is called Pause. And she, I'm going to get this wrong now, but the thing around that is basically choosing to pause before life does it for you. She has a burnout story, just as I have a burnout story. Okay. And so for you, it's just thinking about, am I taking care of myself? Am I pausing? Am I stopping? But not from a place of like, oh, I'm so burnt out, everything's so difficult, everything's so hard, I need to slow down. But from this place of magic happens if I take some time to slow down and reconnect back to myself, to really drop into, what do I need? Where am I being led? What is it that life is asking from me? And how do I answer that call? Because that is the power of the pause. That next step in our growth is the power of the pause. Because we don't get there in the business of the day-to-day. So it's just something for you to think about. Now, I don't personally offer long retreats, but I have started doing day online retreats. So if you like the idea of pausing, of stopping, of reconnecting back to yourself, and you would like to do it in an online context, check out the show notes because there's information in there about my summer retreat, which is going to be on Wednesday, the 21st of June. And that is going to be a beautiful day. We're going to start at lunchtime in the UK, so it's morning in the US. So it kind of covers both of those time zones and Europe as well, in a like time sociable way. Australian people, please feel free to get up in the middle of the night, but I'm not expecting you to. And we will get really clear on what is needed, what is life asking of you right now. We will do some coaching, we will do some workshopping, we will do some like summer supportive practices of like, how do we get our systems ready for summer? And just really from a place of slowing down, stopping, pausing, reconnecting back to ourselves. And then to really help cement that work that I do with you. Lucy Maeve, who is a fantastic breathwork facilitator, will then come in and do a breathwork session just to really kind of round off the day in a really lovely way. So if you would like to know more about that, head to the show notes and have a look. Reach out to me. I'm going to keep the numbers small because I like to be able to support individual people in all of my programs, actually. And so we will limit the group. I will be limiting the group to 10. Some places have already gone. If you would like one, reach out. But that will be just a really lovely, nourishing day for you to reconnect. And we won't be in nature, but if you can see my backdrop right now, you will be immersed in nature because I will be doing it from here. All right, that is what I have for you this week. Takeaways. There is so much power to be had, so much potential, so much growth when you make the decision to intentionally slow down and pause. Okay, both from a like spiritual elevating your consciousness level, but also from a getting clear on what it is that you want, getting clear on what your next steps are, pressing the reset button, and just kind of opening yourself up to possibility. So your takeaway thoughts or queries or inquiries, however you want to think about it, is where are you being asked to slow down and what might be stopping you? And if part of that is, I can't afford to slow down, I can't afford to stop, I've got so much to do, just question that narrative, because you may find the answers to all of it sit at the other side of just actually not really doing very much for a little while. All right, take care, and I will see you next week. Bye.